finally back. Finally back in the States. So, I mean, I guess we'll call this a rest day. Technically, yesterday was the rest day when I was coming back from London. I sort of had a little bit of a ethical dilemma. Or not a dilemma, but kind of a problem that I was trying to decide the right answer to. Because I got back at around midnight. And we left for the airport around 5. And the amount of food and water that I drank during that whole period, let's just say it was not as much as I would like. So back at midnight, and a little beforehand, made an executive decision. Can you believe it? Skip the gym. But I mean, that's always been my approach. Every time I talk about rest days, I don't say never take a rest day. I say only take them when necessary. You know, and I've only got 2 situations when that occurs. Either I'm fucking sick as a dog, which, even if I'm a little sick, I usually still go. Or, if I'm just fucking busy, man, scheduling wise, to the point where I can't really prepare enough to have a good workout. The arm day that I'm going to have today, after sleeping all night, getting a big ass bowl of eggs, cheese, salsa, and onions, and then sleeping all day, plus having like 2 liters of water with some electrolyte mix in them. This arm day today is going to be much more effective. Just because, well, I mean, I'm more well rested, obviously, more hydrated, and I'm just going to feel better when I do it, you know? So I want to lift as frequently as possible, daily. You know, that's pretty much the bar, which I like. But if I can't prepare, like if the night before I got zilch for sleep, hardly ate much, kind of dehydrated, it's not going to be in my best interest to fucking, you know, stress my body out by doing a lift. I got to kind of get on my A game when it comes to those 3 pillars of preparation. You know, I say this all the fucking time. Sleep, food and drink. I guess that's really it. Sleep, food, drink. If you're properly rested, well fed, and well hydrated, I have no reason to believe that you can't do a lift back to back to back to back to back. And if you ever feel like, you know, you're a little bit tired or you're unrested or you just, I mean, you know for a fact that you're not going to have a very productive lift, then it may be in your best interest to back off. But the problem arises with that sort of thought process of gauging whether or not you should go lift or stay home and rest. Because, you know, for the most part, people are fucking lazy. And I don't mean just people, I'm talking about me included, you know? So where is that bar? You know, where can you really tell, like, oh, I actually am physically tired. I should stay home. I should rest. I should save up some energy to lift tomorrow. You know, where does that get blurred to, I'm feeling kind of lazy. I'll just say I'm taking a rest day. You know, so that's where I think that the 2 thought processes of frequency, one is a little bit better to start with, and I think the other one is kind of babyish, you know? So if you start out working out and you've got the mentality, no matter what, sick, 0 sleep, feel like shit, you're going to lift. I'm not going to say that every lift you're going to have is super productive, but you will kind of have that dog in me mentality, and it's going to show, you know? So it kind of shows how, you know, into it you are. And then the guy who constantly takes rest days whenever he feels the slightest level of discomfort, or he's not totally hyped up to go lift, or like some of his buddies weren't going to be at the gym that day, so he says, I'll just stay home. You know, that guy, I don't think all of a sudden he's going to like start training like a freak. I think he's going to consistently just kind of be a schmuck almost, you know? And I kind of do want to be mean when I say that, because we've all go to the same gyms. I mean, not the same gym, but we all go to the same gyms year after year. And I know that you see dudes who just, they're right there, 0 progress. They're locked in at a 225 bench. And they just look the fucking same, you know? So I would be inclined to believe that those guys aren't really pushing it so hard to the point where they're actually, you know, training to discomfort. Because you got to remember, if you look the same month after month after month, then that means that everything you've been doing and all the energy that you put into working out, diet, sleep, like the amount of shit you have to give up, because you're giving up a fucking, I mean, including the drive, pretty much 2 hours a day. You've only got so much time. So this is like taking 2 hours out of every day. Fuck, man, you better enjoy it. But if after 3 months or 6 months or a year or many years, you're still the same dude, then that means that everything you've been doing has only been enough to maintain where you're at now. Now, if you're in your fucking physique's final form and you're like, this is what I like, I'm going to stay here, this is good for me, then that's perfect. You know, I bet in a way a lot of people are jealous of somebody like that because they're not constantly like, I don't want to say dissatisfied. It's not like I look in the mirror and I think, oh God, I look like shit, fuck, or I'm not big enough. But, you know, it is kind of just a constant reaching, a constant like yearning for more and more, which, I mean, some people, especially anybody who's like a fucking gearhead freak, they probably lose fact of, they probably got a little bit of a switch flipped off in their brain, you know, so I think I probably count within that realm, but there'll be a limit for sure. Eventually I'll get to a point where I'm like, okay, this is the build I like, I'm just going to maintain right here, but I have no idea where that's going to be, so we'll have to see. Definitely upper 200s. 300 pounds, that's far from my grasp right now, so we'll see what happens once I get to like 280, 270. But what I'm trying to say here is the guy who starts out training every day, no matter what, just fucking going hard like a nut, like nothing's going to stop him. Once he realizes, which I feel like I've kind of done, eventually, like, okay, maybe I should take a rest day because that is literally going to be better for my progress than to train right now. Like, it's going to be better for me growth-wise to save legs for tomorrow and just take a rest day because I can tell I'm a little dehydrated, I didn't prepare properly, I should rest. Right? The guy who switches from that fucking nut mentality to more of a, like, okay, this is legitimately the best move, that's going to be smarter. And the guy who constantly fucking, yeah, I'll just back off. I'm going to take a rest month. I need to desensitize. Come on. Which one of those guys is going to be more jacked? You know, so that's really the main point I'm trying to say there. And then, unrelated to training, we can just kind of talk about the UK trip. My eyes were a little bit bigger than my body. So I was at Dino's gym, super hardcore, a bunch of crazy old, like, real specific machines, rattly dumbbells, super heavy, really good lifts over there. I posted a few of those, and then a few are going to be on the Hostile channel. But afterwards, he's like, fuck, man, take a hoodie. And a 3XL might be a little big for me, which kind of sucks to say. But I'd rather grow into it, you know. I feel like I even did that when I was a kid. Like, whenever we'd be at like a swim meet or whatever, I'd always try to get the biggest shirt I could. But now, even fucking a 2XL shirt that's been sitting in my closet for years, I can't even fucking fit into it. You know, so you gotta remember, if you're an early, you know, year 1, year 2 lifter, you're only like 180 or so, I would recommend getting a few, you know, 3XL long sleeve shirts or hoodies or just whatever. Because it's pretty cool to grow into shit, you know. I've got like workout shirts, like long sleeve stuff, which I've had and I've been wearing since I was like a 170 pounder. And they still fit now. Now they fit a little bit more well, and they're actually kind of getting a little bit tight on me. But it is pretty cool to be able to have such a tangible, you know, thing that you can see yourself grow into. So next time you're on, you know, next time you're buying some shit, maybe go up a few sizes just so you kind of have a constant motivator, like, oh shit, I gotta fill this fucker out. But yeah, so I can definitely tell I'm light. I got on the scale. This is probably my most unfortunate news to bring. 250 pounds. Not good. Not very good. But only a momentary setback. Because you got to remember, when I lose, you know, 10 pounds or something over like a trip, because I'm not getting my meals in and I'm not drinking enough water and electrolytes and staying hydrated, and my sleep was kind of fucking bananas this whole time. Not that those are excuses. I definitely could have been better about the food. I'm still kind of working on that. Like, I mean, this is like my second really big event where I'm like fucking pretty busy. So I got to get a little bit better about packing my food and meals and everything. But even though I went from literally 260 a few weeks ago to now 250, does that mean that 10 pounds of muscle just evaporated off my frame? Well, not exactly, because you got to remember, the bigger you are, the larger your fluctuation of weight can be, depending on how well or poorly hydrated you are, and how well fed versus kind of flat you are. So when you're up at like 250, 260, if you go a few days without really getting in enough food, fuck man, your weight can drop 7 pounds, 8 pounds. In my case, unfortunately, 10 pounds. But that's not muscle, that's just intramuscular fluids, right? We're talking sarcoplasm and glycogen, pretty much the sugar water that fills up your muscles, right? That's, if you ever hear about carbo loading or just, carb loading of somebody doing like a marathon or something, the night beforehand, they're eating fucking hundreds of grams of carbs worth of pastas or whatever else, such that for the next day, intramuscular glycogen, right, all their little fuel levels, if you were to zoom in onto each fiber of your fucking quads or your pecs or whatever, you've got a little gas tank of pretty much sugar water. And the more food that you eat, the higher that is going to be. And that's kind of the name of the game with bulking, in my opinion. So I try to stay as full of water and carbs as possible. So in essence, I'm running a full tank constantly. So I've got a lot of energy at my disposal. Not only for, recovery, but also to fucking lift, You got to remember, glycogen, aka sugar, that's your fucking first source of fuel. So when you're working out and you're full of sugar, fuck man, you're going to be pretty strong. Even if you go from fucking, let's say you're eating at maintenance for like a whole week, and then for a week, you eat in like a 500 calorie surplus. Not only are you going to be a little bit heavier because you ate a little bit more food, but the fact that you have more carbs, you're just fucking carbed up and more full, you're going to be stronger. And again, I'm not again, but I'm not a power lifter. So the strength is kind of secondary to the goal of, size and fucking, muscular development. As, it might not seem that way. I always try to lift pretty heavy. But even when you're fucking pumped up, you're going to be bigger when you're full of fucking carbs. Because you got to remember, if your muscles or if your biceps are full of more water and sugar and each fiber, that means they're going to have more volume, So today I may be a little bit smaller just visually because I'm legitimately shrunk in a sense. But I think the word deflated is a little bit of a better term. So even though it was a 10-pound loss, which in a bulking phase is completely against the goal. It's like a complete fucking, down 20% on the NASDAQ. Don't worry, it's going to come back up. Probably over the course of just the next few days. Because I can definitely tell, and hell, this may end up being a good thing, that I'm fucking hungry. Like I got a bowl of lo mein sitting right in front of me. I don't know if I'm about to go lift. I've got arms, which is, I'm going to post that tomorrow. I'm just recording this so you have a little something today. Because a 2 days of no video, come on, that's fucking nuts. But I got a big ass bowl of lo mein that my parents got me when they went out to lunch. I think I should probably wait until the end of the workout to eat this, just because if I eat the whole thing, I'm probably going to feel like shit. Or not shit, but kind of, bloated. So, yeah, I don't expect that to be a problem. Next few days of, carbing up, I got a bunch of fruit snacks and Gatorades and tons of eggs and steaks and rice and ramen and, chicken lo mein and whatever else. Guess what, man? All of that stuff, even though, not conventionally the healthiest foods, it's still full of fucking carbs, fats, and proteins, So I'm not saying that doesn't matter. Do not take it as though I'm saying this is the absolute best way to go about it. It's just kind of what I like doing. But over the course of the next few days, as I eat a ton of this, so every day that I work out and I just exist at my body weight, breathing and moving around, doing my cardio and sleeping, my whole body's going to burn X amount of calories, maybe 4,000, 3,500, whatever. So that's the amount of food that I need to eat to stay at a 250 pounder. So over the course of the next few days, as I eat, maybe 5,000, 6,000 calories per day, since that calorie intake is above my body's maintenance, that means that I'm going to have more energy at my disposal than necessary to stay the same weight. So I don't know why I'm trying to overcomplicate it by saying it so fancily, but when you eat in a calorie surplus, your body has to do something with that energy. And not even just that energy, but with that mass. You're literally putting a bunch of fucking matter into your frame. It's not all just getting passed through you. So if you combine a serious calorie surplus with weight training, a stimulus, essentially you're creating a need for your body. You're creating a need for your body to recover when it has, a ton of fucking calories to work with, as well as proteins, fats, carbs, everything. It's going to be able to fucking grow. So that's sort of the mentality that I've really resonated with for the last few years, or 2.5 years ish. So that's why I've been bulking up and cutting down. And not only do I just like the thought process of it, but it's been working. So I've said this a few times, but I feel like the main argument against bulking and cutting is the fact that, oh, well, you're just yo-yo dieting, right? You gain a bunch of weight, but then you lose all of it, and then you're back to where you started. But you got to remember, you're not back to where you started, at least if you'd bulked and cut properly. So, here's the line. Like, let's say I was like 200 pounds when I started really bulking up. Got up to 230, cut down 210. 10-pound fucking gain, right? Bulk up to 240, cut down to 220. 10-pound gain. Consistently do it like that. And for me, at least, with my whole situation, all my supplements and everything, that's just what fucking works. So I used to main gain when I was in high school. That I got from 160 to like 200-ish, reasonably lean. And also I was doing sports at the time. I was doing diving. It doesn't really help you to be able to do flips in the air when you're carrying an excess amount of body fat. So that may have been why I didn't really get into any serious bulks back then. But fuck, man, I'm not saying that's the best way to go about it either. Right? The best way to go about it is the way that lets you grow muscle. And I think it kind of sucks because, or at least it sucks for like the uninitiated lifter, because to hear like a fucking Mike O'Hearn power building style, or, hearing me eat all this fucking shit and bulking up, or, anybody, it kind of, when the person telling you fitness advice has a lot of fucking muscle in their frame, that sort of acts as a fucking, let's see, what's the word I'm trying to think of here? That acts as their credibility, to the point where it's not even a question like, oh, look at this guy, he's fucking huge, he knows what he's saying, right? So that's where the responsibility falls on the viewer, right? The guy watching this video, to be able to take in a variety of information from different sources and places, whatever else. Not even just videos, but like talking to dudes in their gym or, anybody, and kind of make their own conclusions, because you got to remember, there's no law against saying stupid shit about working out and like calories and diet and training and whatever. So, remember, there's no, when when YouTube scans a video for like misinformation, it's not talking about like, how calories in, calories out works or doesn't work. So that's on you, man. You got to be able to try some shit out for yourself, which I think is the best fucking method anyway. Because over the course of like, starting working out, picking different workout splits, whatever else, the starting point's pretty basic. Everybody starts with the same shit, right? Push, pull, legs, maybe 10 sets per workout. You start with like a chest day that's like 3 sets of flat bench and 3 sets of machine press, 3 sets of pec deck, and like a set of cable flies, or like just some basic shit like that. Pretty much everybody starts there. And then over the course of time, you should be able to, well, you definitely should at least try to be able to look at how you've kind of developed and what sort of training style you like, and, watch other people's workouts and see how they do it. Like for me, every time, because I'm kind of spoiled now, I get to train with like Samson Dauda and, all these old school not old school, but, older bodybuilders who have been around for years. And every time I'm working out with them, I usually take a back seat. I let them lead the training so I can, really see how they do it. Because these guys are fucking huge, bigger than me, way fucking bigger than me, they definitely did it somehow. So for me, that's just an opportunity to say, okay, let's see how they do it. Let's hear their thought processes, because it's not like they have my body, so they're gonna go about it differently. But a lot of the times, you can pick and choose certain aspects of people's training and just fucking see if you like it. And it doesn't even have to be that abstract of like oh, I want to really analyze your training. It could really just be like, oh, what fucking go up to somebody at your gym, ask them what a good finisher for chest would be. And if they tell you some shit like, oh, do a set of pec decks, and then jump immediately onto a chest press and burn out with like a lightweight. That's part of their training style, but it's just one set. You try it out. Maybe you fucking love it. Crazy chest pump. And you say, holy shit, Big Dan, I'm going to copy that. And then if they tell you to do something like I can't even think of something, but they tell you to do something that's a little bit silly, maybe you try it, you say you don't like it, and then you fucking move on. So there's only there's only two scenarios which are going to happen after you try something like that. You're either going to, find a new set that you like, or you're going to learn that you don't like one like that. And in either case, that's you progressing towards a training style which you like more. And I think that's a pretty big part of it, For you to like the training that you're doing and to enjoy doing a set and pushing it to like as close to failure as you can, the more you can like being in that state, the better your gains are going to be, because you're going to be lifting longer and harder, If you, I think at a baseline level, everyone has a pretty solid amount of fucking potential gym-wise, like muscle growth-wise. Some people are going to have crazier genetics than others. Obviously, that's a fucking given. But the median, after a period of time, I think anybody can get fucking jacked, But if half of the people don't really enjoy working out at all, and it's like, it's a real chore, they don't enjoy it, they're fucking like, some people just don't even see it. Like, they can't really connect with it when they're working out. They don't feel like they're going hard and pushing it. They feel like, oh, I'm so sweaty, I'm so tired. Oh, this sucks, this hurts. Some people, they just can't connect with the lift, man. Which, sucks for them, unfortunately. But if they were to be able to really enjoy it, it would make sense, Let's think about this scenario. If you worked out hard as fuck, consistently every week, maybe you take a rest day or two, whatever. If you do that for 4 years straight, and you get your diet on a reasonable point, to the point where you're making progress and you sleep pretty well, are you going to be jacked? I think if you actually pushed it every workout and you did it consistently, I think yes. I think if you put anybody through serious workout programs, like bodybuilding style, like we're all doing, for a few fucking years, I think anybody can fucking do it, But the fact that people don't really enjoy it and it feels like a chore, or they're like, oh, dude, that's way too much time. Fuck, man. I think that's the biggest sort of thing turning people away. It's just the fact that it's kind of a fucking long-term commitment. But it's sort of like it's kind of like a take the red pill or the blue pill kind of thing, Once you get into it, most people sort of stay. Most people stay in the gym once they really see what it's like. And then anybody who's kind of uninitiated, they're kind of on the fence. But I think over time, more and more people are getting into it. So we're just getting that much closer to a world of fucking freaks. Or at least of, people with more muscle. Which, who doesn't want to see that? But plan for tomorrow for you is to see the arm day that I'm going to hit in a few minutes. But just a quick little kitchen talk, just to tide you over. Plus a weight update. Yeah, don't worry, I'll bring those back a little bit. I won't. It kind of sucks because I don't like putting them in the title of the video, because you got to remember, with your body weight, day by day, you can have pretty serious fluctuations. And I mean, maybe not you, but for me at least, when I track my weight, I could be fucking 256, 253, 257, 257, 258, 252, 255, and it's like day by day, it's very sporadic. But week by week, it's a little bit more of an even trend. So whenever I'd put the weight at the end of the title in the video, fucking half the comments are just, how'd you lose 5 pounds? Oh, holy crap, how'd he gain 5 pounds? You know, so it's just, I'll keep you updated, don't worry. 260 will return, and I foresee that'll happen rather quickly, because that's not the end goal, right? That's not the point, just to be 260, brother. You know, I got to get 270. Not that that's like, I want to get as heavy as I can. But if I got to 270, let's just say I wouldn't mind. But gonna hit arms, come back to this lo mein. Yeah, I don't know why I even took it out of the fridge if I wasn't gonna eat it. But we'll see what that arm pump looks like for me in a few hours, but for you tomorrow. So whether you're fucking on spring break, in school, traveling, doing work like normal as a fucking adult, or you're in high school, don't skip the lift. That's my little quote to you. Unless a rest day is actually beneficial. But I'm out of here. I'll see you tomorrow.